friendship and kindness. And this one comes with this lenticular design on the front. So we have a nice smiley reindeer, and then a grumpy one. This one is, just seeing if I can find who wrote it. Well, the back says, "At Santa's workshop lives one grumpy reindeer. He's simply the grumpiest and grouchiest reindeer there ever was, and even scares off the other reindeer. But when Santa asks him for his help on an important Christmas mission, he realizes that he could use a friend or two to lean on. Will this grumpy reindeer's frown turn upside down in time to save Christmas?" How interesting. I can't see an author anywhere, although I can see just on the back it is illustrated by Claire Victoria Wilson. I don't know if this is normal for kids' books, but on top of that we also have Enid Blyton's Christmas Bedtime Stories, with a very nice shiny golden font on the front. Now this one comes with over 30 stories, and I don't think we're going to be able to get through all of them today. So my plan is to read the other two and then see how we get on with the compilation book here. The back of Enid Blyton's Christmas Bedtime Stories says, "Celebrate the Christmas season with this bumper collection of short stories by Enid Blyton, the world's best loved storyteller. From the boy who found one of Santa's sleigh bells, to the goose who made it snow, and the pudding that wouldn't stop growing." That one sounds good. Snuggle down and enjoy this delightful collection of bedtime stories, perfect for reading at bedtime or any time. I can get behind that for sure. And finally we have a perfectly timed The Night Before Christmas by Kes Gray and Claire Powell, from the author of Oi Frog. I haven't heard of that one, but maybe if this book impresses me enough, I might have to pick it up. The night before Christmas is, of course, the 23rd of December, which is tonight. The back of this book says, "Santa and his elves are rushed off their feet preparing for Christmas Eve. There are presents to make, reindeer to wake, and sleigh to polish. But what has Santa forgotten to do?" Inspired by Clement C. Moore's original festive tale, and written by Kes Gray, the best-selling author of Oi Frog, The Night Before Christmas is a fun-filled Christmas classic in the making. I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I think we are gonna start with The Grumpy Reindeer. So let me shift these other books out of the way. So this is The Night Before Christmas by Kes Gray and Claire Powell. This book is Christmas Eve, and Santa was wiping his brow on his sleeve. Green elves were sewing, blue elves were counting, red elves were carving. The pressure was mounting. Here they are all doing their very busy jobs. Be quick, Santa bellowed. There's so much to do. My list is so long, it just isn't true. Poor Santa's tangled up in his own list. The elves put their heads down and trebled their speed. 10 billion presents were what they would need. Goodness. Swing balls were tested. Puppets were strung. Board games were boxed. Slinkies were sprung. There's a puppet of a skeleton here, which is an interesting gift for Christmas. And I can see some elves here. I guess packing $20 into a gift box. Skateboards were oiled, yo-yos were threaded, dollies were dressed, teddies were tedded. I appreciate the poetic license to get a rhyme there. Teddied, threaded. The workshop resounded with elves hard at work. There was no time to rest, there was no time to shirk. They're measuring a dinosaur up there, tying up some roller skates, and this seems like they're messing around. Slackers. Santa looked down and studied his list. He was sure, there was something he'd missed. Aeroplanes, bicycles, boomerangs, drums, pogo sticks, spinning tops, sugar mice, sugar plums. I can see this elf is dragging a small sled with some letter blocks, but I'm not sure I can make out any relevant words. He ticked all the boxes, then turned with a jump. Mrs. Claus had arrived with a plate and the hump. Santa, she grumbled, you've been asked, you've been told. Now look what has happened, your dinner's gone cold. Santa frowned crossly, I've no time to eat. There's reindeer to ready and deadlines to meet. I can't quite make out what Santa's having for dinner there. Looks like brown mush with peas and carrots. Oh, there we go. Question answered. The cold winter stew got plonked on the table. Santa harumphed and went to the stable. Up Dasher, up Dancer, up Donner and Blitzen, up Comet, up Cupid, up Prancer and Vixen. The reindeer woke up and climbed to their feet. They had slept for a year and needed to eat. Snowflakes were falling. Excitement was building. Christmas was calling. Back in the workshop, the shelves were now lined with presents and gifts of every kind. Wow, what can we spot here? There are those oiled skateboards and the teddy bears that have been teddied. A little pram, some games down here. Kites had been ribboned, printing sets inked, spinning tops balanced, tiddlies winked. There's the box of tiddlywinks. Toys had been tested, batteries loaded, instruments tuned, computer games coded. Remember, said Santa, our schedule is tight. The elves gave a nod and worked through the night. Pop guns were loaded, footballs inflated, candy canes twisted, train sets tin plated, dolls' clothes were folded, annuals were printed, tangerines polished, chocolate coins minted. Santa thought hard as the present piles grew. He was sure there was something he'd forgotten to do. With takeoff time now, only hours away, he raced back outside to inspect the sleigh. The elves in high vis had done Santa proud. Ta-da, they exclaimed as they threw off the shroud. Jet washed and polished, red, silver, and gold. The sleigh was a picture, a joy to behold. Good job, Santa shouted. 3 cheers for you. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was new. Inside the workshop, the elves began clapping. The presents were made. It was time to get wrapping. Paper was folded. Scissors were snipped. Labels were written. Fountain pens dipped. Keep going, cried Santa. It's Christmas Eve morning. There's no time for breakfast. And no time for yawning. I guess you could say that elves have the knack. See, 10 billion presents in one magic sack. You've done it, cheered Santa. We are done, we are there. And not only that, with minutes to spare. He ran through his list and checked it all through. What was it? What was it he'd forgotten to do? With a wave to his helpers, he raced to the sleigh, made himself comfy, and sat-naved the way. Giddy up, Santa cried. With a nod and a wink, the reindeer took off and were gone in a blink. as dry leaves before a spent hurricane slow. So calmness returned to the landscape below. Chaos and mayhem became stillness and peace, until Mrs. Claus ran out in her best winter fleece. "Santa," she panted, jumping the gate. But Santa was gone. Mrs. Claus was too late. "It's the same every year," she said with a wave. "Nicholas, my dear, you've forgotten to shave." And that's the end. I enjoyed that one too. I thought the rhymes were quite fun. There were some pretty creative ones that I enjoyed. I'm not sure about the twist at the end. It seems thrown in, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it anyway. And that will bring us to the last book for tonight, where we can maybe read through a couple of stories to finish off. Okay. I hope you've enjoyed the story so far. We're going to finish off with maybe one or two from Enid Blyton's Christmas bedtime stories. There are over 30 stories inside, so we are going to have our pick of the best ones. We have One Christmas Night, the Christmas pudding that wouldn't stop. She didn't like parties. Grandpa Twinkle wanted a royal snow digger. Santa Claus makes a mistake. The Grateful Pig, the Sleigh Bell. Nid Nod's mistake at Christmas time. The Hungry Little Robin. Amelia Jane and the Snow Doll. A Coat for the Snowman. The Mistle Thrush and the Mistletoe. The Lost Presents. Santa Claus Goes to Mr. Pink Whistle. Tracks in the Snow. Fairies Love. One Christmas Eve. Look What I've Done. Is there anything particular you want? The Tiny Christmas Tree. A Hole in Santa's Sack. Knock Knock. When Billy Missed the Party. Santa Claus Gets Busy. The Snowman in Boots. Which Grufflum's Plum Pudding. It's Like Magic. Jack Frost is About. Santa Claus Gets a Shock. Poor Mr. Dumpy. And Acknowledgements. Although, my guess is that's not a story. I have not read any of these, so I don't know if there are any good ones. But why don't we start with the very first one in the book, called One Christmas Night. One Christmas night, a very strange thing happened to Jack and Mary. You see, they were both in bed and fast asleep, dreaming of Christmas Day, when a curious noise awoke them. And they sat up in bed at once. "What's that grunting, stamping noise?" said Jack. "It sounds as if it's coming from outside." He got up and looked out of the window. It was rather dark, but he could just make out something moving about their garden. Oh dear. Had their pony got out of his shed? "Mary, I believe Cloppity has got loose," he said. "We'd better go and put him back, or he will spoil the garden." So they put on dressing gowns, and down the stairs they went. They I opened a window there to look out and make sure it was Cloppity, and goodness me, what was this out there? Something that stamped and then put a big head in at the window, a head with antlers. "It's a reindeer," said Jack. "He's staring in at us. Where did he come from?" And then a voice spoke out of the darkness. "Who's there? I'm Father Christmas, and one of my reindeer has hurt his leg. Have you a lamp, please? I can use." Not more Santa Claus impressions. Well, Jack and Mary could hardly believe their ears. "Take my torch," said Mary. I draw the line at trying to do a voice for a little girl. "Take my torch," said Mary, and out went Jack into the garden. Yes, it was Father Christmas, and there was a big reindeer too, holding up one of its legs. "One of the others kicked it by accident," said Father Christmas. "He can't gallop now. Poor thing, he'll just have to rest. Have you a shed I could borrow just for tonight?" "Yes," said Jack, and led the way. "Over here, Father Christmas." Then the moon came out from behind a cloud, and up on the roof Jack saw Father Christmas's sleigh and 3 other reindeer, patiently waiting. What a sight to see! Jack opened the shed door, and Cloppity whinnied a surprise welcome. "Good gracious, a dear little pony," said Father Christmas. "Will there be room for my reindeer?" The pony clip-clopped out and nuzzled against Father Christmas, putting its head over his shoulder, whinnying. "What a loving little thing," said Father Christmas. "My word, I've got a most wonderful idea." "What is your idea?" asked Jack. Father Christmas didn't answer. He gave a whistle, and down from the roof came the 3 reindeer and the sleigh. They landed in the garden, and Jack stared in surprise. Then Mary came running out to see what was going on. "Boy, would you lend me this pony of yours to go with my reindeer, pulling my sleigh tonight?" asked Father Christmas. "See how he nuzzles them. He's friends already." "Cloppity, would you like that?" said Jack in excitement. Cloppity neighed softly and went to stand in the hurt reindeer's place. He tossed his head up and down. "He'll be all right," said Father Christmas, pleased. "Would you like to come too? He might get nervous, you know, and then you could call out, 'Steady there, Cloppity.'" "Father Christmas, is this a dream?" said Mary suddenly. "Bless us, no," said the old fellow, lifting her into the sleigh. "If it is, you and Jack are both in the same dream." Then Jack got into the sleigh too, and Father Christmas harnessed Cloppity to the others. They stamped their hooves, longing to be off. Father Christmas locked the hurt reindeer in the shed. "He'll be all right after a rest," he said, and got into the sleigh. He tucked a great rug around them. Then he clicked to the reindeer and the pony. "Up," he said. "Up, up and away." And my goodness me, what a wonderful feeling it was to feel the sleigh lifting into the air. The reindeer galloped up into the sky, and little Cloppity galloped too, so proud to be there that he couldn't help tossing his pretty head. "We have to go down soon," said Father Christmas, looking over the side of the sleigh. He whistled twice, and the reindeer and Clopperty galloped down to a big roof. Father Christmas took a great many toys out of his sack, and then he got onto the roof. "Lots of children here," he whispered. Perfect. So there were. It was a hospital for small children, and Father Christmas didn't mean to forget them. He slid down the chimney and disappeared. Clopperty whinnied. "It's all right, Clopperty," said Jack. "Stand still now." Ah, here comes Father Christmas again, and there he was coming out of the chimney. It really was a marvelous adventure for the two children. Away they galloped again, over woods and hills. Down below, the houses looked very small indeed. Father Christmas disappeared down a great many chimneys, and at last his sack was empty. He shook it out over the side of the sleigh. "No more toys," he said. "I must take you home. Well, your Clopperty has done very well. Is there any present I can give him?" Off they went again, while Jack and Mary thought hard. "He might like a nice blanket," said Mary. "It's cold in his shed." "Right," said Father Christmas. "Well, here we are again in your garden. Out you get." They ran to the shed and unlocked it. Out trotted the reindeer. The rest had done him good. He rubbed noses with Clopperty. Then Father Christmas patted Clopperty and said good night to the children. They waved to him as he rose up into the sky once more. And next morning you should have seen their stockings. Why, they overflowed with toys of all kinds. On the floor and everywhere. When did Father Christmas put them there? And will you look at Clopperty wearing his new blanket now? No wonder he's feeling proud. It's Father Christmas's very own rug. That was a nice short one. Let's head back to the contents and see if we can pick another one. You know what? Which Grufflum's plum pudding caught my eye as I was reading through the list of all the titles. Why don't we give that one a go? That's on page 269. Where are we getting to? Here we go. Which Grufflum's plum pudding? There was once a strange old witch called Grufflum. Oh my gosh, have I been saying her name wrong? Which Grufflum's plum pudding? There was once a strange old witch called Grufflum, who hated her next-door neighbor, Mother Kindheart. Now, Mother Kindheart was quite well off, and was always doing kind things for other people, which Grufflum, too, was very kind. But she had never done a kind deed in her life, and she hated to hear people praise Mother Kindheart for her goodness. "It's only because she's got money and can give people presents and help them," she grumbled. If she could lose all her money, she'd soon lose her friends too, which Grufflum began to plan how she could make Mother Kindheart lose all her money, and at last she thought of a plan. "Ho ho," she chuckled, "I'll make a plum pudding." And a spell inside. Whoever eats the pudding will have to go and give all their money away at once. I'll give the pudding to Mother Kindheart, and the spell will make her give her money away, and she'll soon have none left. I'm hoping that we get some more Christmas spirit in the story soon. So the witch made the pudding and sent it to Mother Kindheart. But it happened that Mother Kindheart had 2 big puddings already. Dear me, I can't be greedy and keep 3, she said. I'll send it to the wait-a-bit gnome on the hill. He didn't have a pudding last Christmas. So she sent it off to the wait-a-bit gnome. But it happened that the gnome had had lots of puddings given to him that Christmas. Dear me, I can't keep this one too, he said. I'll send it to Silvertoes the fairy. She'll like it, I'm sure. So he sent it off to Silvertoes the fairy. But it happened that Silvertoes was going to stay with her aunt. So she really did not want a pudding that year. Dear me, it's no use my keeping it, she said. Auntie will have plenty. I'll send it to Gloomy the Goblin. It will cheer him up. So she sent it off to Gloomy the Goblin. But it happened that Gloomy the Goblin had had 3 others sent to him to cheer him up. Dear me, I cannot eat 4, he said. I'll send it to Pit-a-Pat the bunny. He'll love it. But it happened that Pit-a-Pat could not bear the sight of plum puddings. They made him very ill. Dear me, what a pity now, he said when he saw the pudding. I can't possibly eat it. I'll send it to Snuffle Round the hedgehog. He can eat anything. So he sent it off to Snuffle Round the hedgehog. But it happened that Snuffle Round had decided to go to sleep for the winter. He woke up when the postman came and undid the parcel. Dear me, he said, a plum pudding. Well, I really can't wake up enough to eat it. I'll send it to old Wizard Wallamaloo. He did me a good turn last year, so I'd like to give him a present. So he sent it off to Wizard Wallamaloo, and then fell fast asleep again. But it happened that Wizard Wallamaloo was very busy thinking out new spells, and really could not be bothered to eat plum pudding. Dear me, he said, it's a pity to waste it. I'll send it off to Witch Grufflum. I don't believe anyone gives her presents. So perhaps this will be a nice surprise for her, and make her kind to everyone. So he sent it off to Witch Grufflum, and it happened that it arrived on Christmas morning, and the witch had not any other pudding at all. Dear me, she said, this looks like a nice pudding. I'll have some, I think. So she set it on her table and cut herself a slice. And it was so nice that she ate it all. She did not know that it was the pudding she had made a week ago. She did not know it had a spell in it. But the spell worked, and what do you think happened? Why, after her dinner, Witch Grufflum found herself going down to her cellar where her gold was kept. She put it all in little paper bags, and took it out to give to the poor elves, fairies, and gnomes round about. And she did not stop until every single piece had been given away. And she was just as surprised as everybody else, and rather cross about it when the effects of the pudding had worn off. Still, while the spell lasted, she had felt that it was nice to be doing good with her gold. she quite changed and no longer hated Mother Kindheart. In fact, she often did kind deeds herself, instead of hoarding all her money. There was only one person who was not surprised, and that was the wizard Wallamaloo. I thought if I gave her that pudding it would make her kind-hearted to others, he said. But we could tell him the real reason, couldn't we? I did quite like that story by the end. I was a little worried at the beginning that we would get a story around hateful witches. Although I suppose we kind of did. I enjoyed how you could tell where it was going. With every section and every time the pie got handed around. But it was still enjoyable. Hearing everyone's reasons. I think though, that brings us to the end of the video for today. I really, really hope that you've enjoyed these Christmas stories. And of course, I hope that you've had a wonderful Christmas so far. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I see you again soon in another video. Thank you again, and